Hello, this is our last day of new stuff before we'll take some time to review and our quiz. I would pause this and try these two problems. All right, parallelograms. You should know that opposite angles of a parallelogram are equal. So if I want to figure out what this is, it's simply 100 degrees. These two angles are not equal. These two angles add up to 180 degrees. So it should be x plus 135 plus 45 equals 180. These two angles add up to 180. These two angles are equal for a parallelogram. Combine like terms. So x plus 180 equals 180. Subtract 180 and x equals 0. There's nothing wrong with x equaling 0. It's a number. You can plug it back in to see if it works. Plug in 0. 0 plus 135 is 135. Does 45 plus 135, does that equal 180 degrees? Yeah. All right, new stuff. We're going to be talking about trapezoids. There are two things we will talk about with trapezoids. One is, what if I simply have a regular trapezoid? Not an isosceles trapezoid, but a regular trapezoid. That means that this side is parallel to this side. We have one set of parallel lines. So if I have a regular trapezoid, and honestly, for either trapezoid, these two angles, they're not equal. Since these lines are parallel, these two angles add up to 180 degrees, just like a parallelogram, and this is going to be true for any type of trapezoid, either isosceles or regular. So this is 120, then 180 minus 120 equals 60 degrees. Same thing here, we want to solve for x. It says it's just a plain old trapezoid. That means these two lines are parallel. That means that these two angles add up to 180 degrees. So you just take 6x plus 37 plus 71 equals 180. Oh, let's get a new color. Yeah, I picked you. 6x plus 37 plus 71 equals 180. Combine like terms, so that's going to be 6x 37 plus 71, I believe, is 108 equals 180. Subtract 108, so 6x equals 72. Divide by 6, and x equals 12. For every type of trapezoid, these two angles add up to 180 degrees. Now, there is one special thing if we have a isosceles trapezoid. Here's an isosceles trapezoid. These two lines are parallel, and these two sides are the same length. As I said before, for any trapezoid, these two that are on the same side interior angles, these always add up to 180, no matter if it's isosceles trapezoid or not. So this is really nothing new. We just did it on the previous slide. 180 minus 80, this equals 100. So 100 degrees. But that problem over there is new. We didn't talk about that for the other trapezoid. We talked about these two angles adding to 180. But if I have a isosceles trapezoid, these two sides are the same, we call these base angles. And these base angles are equal. So if I have a isosceles trapezoid, yes, these two add to 180, but the bottom angles and the top angles are equal. So these two angles are equal, so this is simply 85 degrees. Last one. I would pause this one and see if you can figure it out. What angles are equal and what angles add up to 180? All right, here we go. They said that these were a isosceles trapezoid. These two angles, S and R, add up to 180, but that's not part of our problem. These two angles add up to 180. Again, that's not what they asked for. If you wanted to, you could be like, oh, that's 50. That must mean that that is 130. That's just helpful information, but you didn't need to write that down for this problem. But since it's an isosceles trapezoid, these base angles are equal. These two angles are equal. So 2x plus 30 equals 50. That's only true if we have an isosceles trapezoid. Always, for any trapezoid, these two angles add to 180, these two angles add to 180. But, since it's an isosceles trapezoid, these two angles, the base angles, are equal. Subtract 30, divide by 2, and x equals 10. Did they say simply solve for x? Yes, they did. We're done. X equals 10. They told us it's an isosceles trapezoid. That means that these two angles are equal, R and U, but that really doesn't help us for this problem. These two angles are equal. For any trapezoid, these two angles add up to 180 degrees. So 8x minus 15 plus 115 equals 180 degrees. Combine like terms, that should be 8x plus 100 equals 180. Subtract 100. Divide by 8, and x equals 10. I don't think we need to do anything with it. It just says solve for x. There it is. For any trapezoids, these two angles add up to 180 degrees. But if it's an isosceles trapezoid, the base angles are equal. That's the last two concepts for this chapter. All right, two jokes. What do you call a fake noodle? This is a classic. A fake noodle is called a impasta. Why didn't the orange cross the street? He ran out of juice. Have a good one.